So hello and welcome back guys. So guys, in today's video I will teach you about string. To be precise, about the string class and about lots of functions which I normally use. So first of all, you can define string in two ways. Well, there might be more ways, but that's how I do. Well, normally I just do variable is equals to and the string, or you can make it empty string too. But you can just do new string and the value, or maybe empty too. But these are ways to do this. So first of all, there is an property called length. Well, it just shows the number of characters inside a string. For example, if we just log this thing, it will return 5 most probably. Let's hope. See, it logged 5. So here comes the caret function. So caret function just returns the character at a particular position. So for example, if I just type 2, then it will return the position L, well, the character L. Well, let me do 1, then it will return E. Now you might ask, why E? It is because an string, you can consider a string as an array of characters. So it just returns the character at that index. So now let's move on to the char code add function. Well, it just returns the code of a particular character. For example, if I do 1, then it will return the ASCII code. I need to log this thing to my bad. It returns the ASCII code of our letter. For example, here E. Let's comment this thing too. So here comes the concat function. We use concat function to literally just concat or copy or merge two strings. So let me just show you how this thing works. We have to provide strings. For example, I can just do space and B, then it will merge A with the space and with the B. So let me log it, and bam, it logged hello world. And if we just type B once more, it will log hello world. So that's how the concat function works. Pretty simple. And now let's move on to ends with. Well, ends with returns an boolean value, whether, well, let me show you, wait a second. So it returns whether the string ends with whatever we pass in here. All right, I will just pass O, and then it will show, well, wait a sec. So it said true because of course hello ends with O. But what if I do B ends with O? It returned false. So it ends with D, and that's what ends function do. This might come handy to you, for example, if you want to reply when something ends with particular thing. Well, in this video I will tell you how particular function works, so these might come handy to you well later on. So now here comes the includes function. We can do if A includes LL, then it will return true, and of course it is true. And let me show you an use case. For example, we can do, wait a second, for example, we can make conditions like if A includes this, then do something. And for do something, I will just do console.log hello have L. Well, to be honest, not hello, let me do A plus have L. Then so it says hello have LL, and this is one of use cases. Well, you can use these string functions to make more conditional statements and stuff. And if you do not know what are conditional statements, check out my part 2 of the JavaScript tutorial. So now here comes the last index of function. So it just returns us the last index of a particular thing, for example L. And of course we can do one more thing. Instead of last index of, we can also do a dot index of, and it will be L. Let me just log these two. And by the way guys, you can log multiple things just by adding commas. So if I do this, it logged 2, it returned the first index, and last index gave us the last index of that particular L thing. And by the way, if you, for example, if you type 3, bam, it returned 3. Well, let me be more precise. All right, boom. So now I will tell you what these things do. So the last index of function just returns the index of that character which appears at last, and -1 if it do not. And the index of function just returns the first index of anything, but you can pass second parameter, and then it will find for that thing afterwards. For example, if I pass 3, then it returned 5. But if we do not pass 3, then it will return 2. Let me show you. Wait a second. Bam, it returned 2. So that's how this index of stuff works. Alright, here comes the match function. So match function is used for getting the matches using the regex. So for example, I will tell you about regex later on. So for example, if you wanna find for the H letter, we can do this. It just returns us an match. Well, let me show you a bit different thing. It might help you later on. So let's see. Boom. So you can see it returns us the string if it contains H or not. If I remove the H, then it will just say null, and if the string contains h, it returns that. And of course we can use the a.test function to, well, sorry, we cannot use that, my bad. But anyways, what if we want to match for lot of stuff, like more than one thing? For that we can just use the match all function, and but there will be one difference. After using match all, we need to provide g. Well, g is just to search globally, so let's do this. Bam. So it returned us this object reject string iterator thing. So you might wonder, what is this? Well, it is just an symbol iterator, and I told you about these things in our part 1. No, yep, probably in our part 2 in the Fibonacci numbers. So if we just use the spreader object on them, it will just return all of these things, you can see. And what if we have more than one appearance of h? Then this happens. Bam, it returns 3 different arrays of these thingies, h, and the input and the groups. Well, input is similar, of course, but you understand, you can use the match and match all function to match for stuff. And here comes the repeat function. So you can understand repeat function just by reading it, to be honest. You just have to provide the count, and then it repeats the string that many times. Well, let me make string a bit more readable. This is absolute shit. Alright, now you can see it typed hello 4 times. So that's how repeat function works. And here comes the replace function. So in replace function, you just have to provide a search value. It can be a regex, but I'm providing in string, so I will just provide L, and I will replace it with a string value, of course. And let me think, what can we return it with? Well, I will replace it with Z. So now let me log it, Control plus X, log, and bam. See, it replaced L to this thing, L to Z. But what if you want to replace each and every L? So you can just do /L/ and then the G, and it will do this. Bam. But there is still an catch. What if one L is capital? Then it will ignore it, and you can just type I, and bam, it replaced that thing too. So I is to make the case insensitive, and G is to search globally. So that's how it works. Well, I should have told you that in a regex video, but why not, man? What is wrong? And guys, here comes the slice method. It just slices our thing. Let me just show you real quick. We can just do log slice, and we can provide the start index and let it be 1, and end index will be 3. So now let me show you what happens now. Bam, it returned us E and L. So you can see this is 0, 1, 2, and then 3, and then 4. So we just asked for, well, what did we ask for? We asked for 1, 2, 3. So it returned us 1 and then 2, because 3 is the last index, and it returns us the value before the last index. Alright, pretty simple, I guess. Well, yep, you know what I'm saying. And then comes the split function. Well, let me make it a bit better. For example, hello world, what's up? So if we use the split function now and put a space here, it will just split the string with the space. So you can see it returned us this thing, but there are some catches. What if there are a lot of spaces? Then bam, this happens. Lot more shit. Well, you can fix that thing very easily. Instead of string, just use this regex. You have to type space, and you just have to type plus. So it is pretty simple. It returns us this. Well, what this plus operator do is, it just checks whether the space, whether the thing presiding it is found at least 0 times. Well, it will just replace all of those spaces to make it easy for you. So now comes the starts with function. So what if you want to check whether a string starts with something or not? You just use this, and you just type h, and let me just log it this, and of course we will log this for b2. So now you will see it says true, and it says false and false, because it do not starts with h, it starts with capital. So yeah, and by the way guys, you cannot use string. Well, you cannot use regex here. For example, you cannot do this. It will throw an error. See, first argument should be a string, and if I make it capital H, then it will return true. So that's how this thing works. Control plus slash. And here comes the str and substring function. They are almost similar to slice, just a small difference, and I will show you that real quick. Let me just, well, I should have told you this thing together with the slice function, but I'm stupid, so stuff happens. and I will do the same thing so that I can tell you this thing pretty easily. Let me type it. Alright, so you can see it returns ELL and EL. So you can consider the substring and slice method as similar thing. Well, let me show you their documentation too. Well, they are pretty much similar. They do not return the last object which is provided in the index, but substr method is different. We are not providing the index at last. Well, the second parameter is the length of our string, like how long our string should be. So it should be 5, then it will go till end, and even if we pass something like 300, it will be like this. So what I mean to say is, in substr function we just provides the length of our string, whereas in substring and in slice function we just provide the index. So this is it. And by the way, you can type -3 too, and it just do this, it just goes negative, and we can do -2 here. It will be pretty fucked, it will be empty. So you should, well, these are the differences. I just wanted to tell you about these. So let's move on. Now here comes the uppercase and lowercase function. Well, they are pretty similar, and you can understand them easily. Well, if I use uppercase and lowercase, they just converts the whole string to lowercase and to uppercase. And of course, let me make it a bit more readable. Bam. So you can see it makes lowercase and uppercase, and that's how these works. And here comes the trim method. Well, these are the last method I'm going to talk about. So let me do this. If I add some spaces here and here, then if we log, let me show you already, console.log a and a.trim, there will be lot more differences. So you can see this hello world, well, the first a character is this long, but if we use a trim method, it is just this. So our trim method just removes white spaces from left and right, and of course then we have the trim left and trim start thing. So if I do trim left or if I do the trim start, it will be pretty similar. They just remove the white spaces from left. So in our trim right function and in our trim end function, they do the pretty much similar thing. They just remove the spaces from right side, or I can say the end, and that's it. That's how our trim function works. Well, there are a lot more functions like anchor, add, blink, but these are for HTML, and this is it about our thing. So guys, this is all about string. I wanted to tell you there are a lot more functions, but they are especially for HTML. For example, you want to get some HTML code out of our string. So this is pretty simple. I guess we don't really have to talk about them. And I guess thanks a lot for watching. I will meet you later in another video. And for then, bye.